All right, how's everyone doing? How you doing, Claire? I hope you're doing well. Well, I've just got myself one of those DGA OM4s. It's a gimbal, and I'm just trying it out now. It's got a tracking facility on it, and I'm not using the tracking facility at the moment. But if I was, and I was walking over here, it would follow me over there, and if I was walking over here, it would follow me over here. So yeah, you know me. I like my gadgets, but that's not why I've come on here today to talk to you. The reason why I've decided I'll do a little video is because I've formed a bit of a hatred and a disdain for that Kenneth Copeland. Everybody must know who Kenneth Copeland is. He's one of those money-loving evangelizers. He was in trouble when he was in the news a while ago, wasn't he? Because he bought another jet. I think he's got 3 jets now. And he tried to justify it in the most ridiculous way. You know, it was like $20 million on top of one that he already had that was $10 million on top of his first one. So he's got like 3. And more or less tried to justify it by saying that he needed all 3. But I've really sort of formed a bit of a dislike to him. He's not a particularly pleasing person to look at when he's on camera. And I've just seen this video just lately about some of his former employees. And it kind of reminds me of some of the Bethelites, that when they sort of left the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, they left because they were sort of disillusioned. And these former employees of Kenneth Copeland have said that he's nothing like the persona that he portrays himself when he's on his evangelistic TV travelling mission. He's totally different, him and his wife, behind closed doors. They don't even have humility. Apparently, there's this unwritten law that if you work for him and they're walking past, you've not even to talk to them, not even to pass a greeting to them. I mean, that just seems ridiculous. Can't get my head around that. I mean, you would have thought that, you know, he'd be grateful for the help he gets. But something else kind of really annoyed me, and that is when the mail comes in, and probably 10,000 mail a day, people put money in these envelopes for him to personally read and to reply back. And he's bought this new printer, and this new printer can duplicate his signature. So you know where I'm going with this, don't you? You must do. So he can duplicate his signature, and it's so unbelievably identical to his real handwritten signature, and it can do it by the thousands. And so they basically just take the money out of the envelopes, him and his, co-workers, or those in the sort of hierarchy, and Kenneth and his wife hardly ever reply. In fact, somebody's just gone on record and said that they can't even recall one moment where they're actually replied. And yet, they're supposed to. They are supposed to offer a reply of some kind, if it's not just a thank you. But then they're doing neither. So they're getting all this money coming in, week after week, day in, day out, week after week. And it's amassing, and that's probably why they can afford these jets and these palatial properties that they have. And they're doing nothing for it. And I'm just thinking to myself how I really, really hate these evangelizers. And I hate anybody that masquerades themselves as pretending to help people that are looking or searching for something in life, a relationship with God. And I hate these people for pretending that they're offering that avenue for them to get there quicker, because these are what these evangelizers do. And just recently, they've gone on record as saying, they stand there, I can't think which one it was that was doing this, because I've just seen about 10 particular videos, and you can't remember them all, but one of them is saying that they're all little gods. They've got this particular thought going at the moment where he's calling everybody that sat there in front row or everybody that's actually gone in. And he's saying that you're all little gods. And he gives this explanation about them being all little gods. And then I thought to myself, well, hang about. I think he's got really confused here, because if man was made in God's image, and that was the original intention, wasn't that just because God wanted him to be able to make decisions and make the right decisions? And wasn't it also because to be made in God's image would have meant that man would never have died? And of course, that was the original intention, that man would never die. Of course, it all went horribly wrong, as we know. But you should have seen the shock and awe in the faces of all those that he made say, I am a little God. I am a little God. At first, they were really, really reluctant to even utter those words, but he coached it out of them. It's almost like a brainwashing in a way. And eventually, they were getting quite bold about saying, "I am a little God." But believe me, we are not God, because we will die. We will not be able to add one day to our life. I'm sorry to have to say this, but the brain cells at a certain part in our life start to die off. And so death is the only thing that we can know for certain is going to happen. So this idea of us being little gods, now, for me, it just makes no sense at all. It might have made some sense back in Genesis with the original intention, but now it doesn't make any sense. Well, it's all getting pretty crazy at the moment now, isn't it? I may be going back onto 24/7 call-outs as the standby engineer. I don't know yet. I've offered my services. Obviously, I want to keep working as long as I possibly can. And the alternative is I'd be at home. They don't want to go into full lockdown for the obvious reasons that it will kill the economy. But they may not have a choice. They may have to. They're going to try preventative measures, very small measures, and hope that it's going to curtail it, or it's going to just sort of keep it under control. But it may not. You know, it may just get a lot worse. Now, on top of that, we still have this interference, don't we, from Russia? Third time this week, Russian jets were in British airspace, flying around or skirting, just coming inside British airspace. I mean, what are they doing? Are they not just push? I feel that Putin, at the moment, is trying to break up that relationship between the UK and the United States. I think he knows that if he can break us, that means that Russia could be a dominant force. This is in his mind, and I'm pretty sure that I've got him pegged now. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what he's trying to do. Not only is he stopping all free thoughts in Russia, or anybody that is not promoting his interest in Russia, he's stopping them dead. I'm talking about Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm talking about other religions as well. There are other religions in Russia that are, being banned. And I think it's his idea that for Russia to be a powerful force, they have to break this tie between Great Britain and America. If they can break that tie, then Russia could well be a dominant force. But we know different, don't we? Because we've seen Daniel's dream, the prophecy regarding the image. So we know that the current world power will be the last world power. And then God's kingdom will take over. Right, I'm just going to say this now as well. I have seen a lot of recent apostate videos, and some of them are just rubbish. Not that good at all. They kind of really are full of just their own viewpoint, with hardly any support or anything to back up what they're saying. There are one or two that are quite eloquent, You always get that. You always get a cross-section of people that are very articulate. They can put things across, explain things almost like a teacher can to children in a classroom. You always get that. But then you get some that are just channeled with their own view. And they're the ones that I don't particularly listen to that much. You know, I might give it about a minute and then I turn it off. I don't follow anybody anymore. And the reason for that is, what good would it do me anyway? If I followed someone, would it tell me something I don't know? Well, I feel it wouldn't. Because I still feel as if, unless we can select another group of people that is a shining example, one that in which we'd like to perhaps form an attachment to, if we can't find another group of people other than the one that we've been downgrading and dismissing as being that one, now I'm afraid if we can't find another group of people, I will have to keep finding reasons to support who I believe will be the last religion standing. I'm not a born-again Christian. I don't think I'll ever subscribe to that particular philosophy, because I believe that yes, you do have to dedicate yourself if you want to be a Christian. I think you have to sort of come to a point. I think somebody refers to it as supplication, which is quite a good word. And I refer to it as you basically get to a period in your life where you really want answers. And you can't get those answers from just anybody. So you're then looking for a higher source of intelligence, and that usually is through prayer and through having your heart opened to receive maybe new direction or maybe new information that you previously didn't know about, but you've allowed that to sink in. And when that does happen, that can also stir you into action and make you choose a particular course, whereas before you may not have been doing too well. You might have been treading water. That's what I call it, when you just don't know what direction you're going and then you're treading water. So you get this new light, or whatever it is, or a new instruction, and all of a sudden you've got like new enthusiasm, because it was waning. You know, it was starting to dissipate, it was starting to filter out. But you get this new sense of vigour and energy that keeps you going. So what I would say in reference to that is this the time now to give up? If you're so sure that the faith you're in, no matter what faith that is, let's not sort of be too specific, but whatever faith you're in, if you were absolutely sure that this is the faith that is going to save your life, it would not be the right time to leave that faith. You won't be happier from it. The only way you'd ever be happier is if you believe that that faith wasn't right, if that faith was misleading you, or that faith had wasted all your life. It could be 50 years of your life. If you believed it's wasted 50 years of your life and you really believe that in your heart, then you would be doing the right thing to leave it. But if you're not sure and you still believe that perhaps it could still be the chosen religion, whichever it is, then stick at it, because you'll be unhappy if you leave. And really, would you really want to leave something when you're so close to getting final answers? Because I believe the final answers will come within that composite sign, which I keep going on about. It will all happen. Many things will occur. Very, very important things in history, in our time, will all come within one succession after another. And they will happen within close proximity to each other. I believe this. Certainly I believe this. The coronavirus that's going on at the moment has stopped the preaching work for the Jehovah's Witnesses for now. I'm still uncertain as to whether Matthew 24:14 has been fulfilled. I don't know. It may be. And then quite possibly, if that is the case, when this coronavirus is over, we could have that new message coming from the JWs. I don't know. Again, I am guessing. But if that is the case, and they come back next year, or whenever, with a new message, and we are then looking like we're on the brink of the Great Tribulation, then what? Would that be the moment that you'd turn around and say, oh, damn, I got this wrong. I was really wrong about them. It looks like they were right after all. Well, we don't know. But we have to throw it out to you and let you decide. But you've really got to now provide some rock-solid evidence that all 8 million, including the leaders, you've got to prove without a shadow of doubt that they were all rotten. And that, of course, means my mother as well, because my mother's been a JW for 50-odd years. So you've got to prove that they're all rotten to the core. And I don't think you'll be able to do that, because, as you know, there are some very, very upright and honourable ones amongst them. In fact, many millions will be honourable and upright. But there will be some that are pretending, that they'll sit there and they will pretend week after week to be a Jehovah's Witness or to be a Christian, but they're pretending. The elders and the rest of the congregation will not be able to read their hearts, but God will. And it is these ones. These are the ones that you need to get out of your religion. You don't want these kinds of people to be in your religion. You want your hypocrites and your pretenders out.